1943, 2 degrees and 87. March 30th, record high 87, record low 2. All right. Have a good weekend. See you on Monday.
Your home for Goodland High School athletics, Fort Hays Tech Northwest basketball, the Denver Broncos, and the Morning Blitz with Ross Volkmer and Max Gershon. This is Rocket 1025, KKCI FM, Goodland, Colby, and NWKS radio station.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington. Democrats are outraged. Senate Republicans none too pleased about a reporter's claim that he was able to join an online session with top defense officials on plans to attack the Houthis in Yemen. Defense Secretary Hegseth takes issue with the reporter's claim. Following yesterday's talks with the Russians, U.S. ceasefire negotiators back at the table today. This time, they're talking with Ukrainian officials. Ukraine reports more Russian attacks overnight, this time targeting the Kiev region, as well as areas of eastern Ukraine. 76 airstrikes in all, according to Ukrainian defense officials. Citing national security, Attorney General Bondi has invoked state secrets privilege, refusing to provide a federal district judge with flight data on the deportation of suspected Venezuelan gang members. On Wall Street this morning, stock futures are mixed. More details at srnnews.com.
If you're 65 or older, you know this. Seeing your healthcare costs go up and up is frustrating. And maybe you were just notified that your Medicare costs are increasing again, or you're just tired of the massive deductibles. Well, here's some good news. There's a program that can really help with this. It's MediShare 65 Plus. It's an affordable, reliable alternative. You can choose any Medicare provider. You get telehealth access anytime you need it. And MediShare 65 Plus is a low-cost option for those with Medicare Parts A and B, and it fills in the gaps where Medicare stops. MediShare is a Christian healthcare community that aligns with your faith. People actually pray for you, they encourage you, and it's proven too. It's been going strong for over 30 years now. So call now. You can get one low monthly price for up to 10 years. You're not stuck with increasing costs. You can do something about this today. Call MediShare 65 Plus. Find out how much you can save. Call 833-SHARE-55. That's 833-SHARE 55. 833-SHARE-55.
Here is the latest news and information that impacts you. I'm Derek White. Jada Tubbs from the Thomas County Community Foundation stopped by the station the other day to tell us about Match Month. Jada, what would you like to share with our audience?
I am so excited. Everybody, you got to hear this. We have had match partners for the past several years. The first one being the Dane G. Hansen Foundation out of Logan, Kansas. They have invested in us and they've created a match opportunity that if we raised $50,000 locally, they would give us $100,000 back for matches, for grants, and for our operating endowment. A new player to the field is the Patterson Family Foundation. They are out of Kansas City, Kansas, and they have joined the game 2 years ago, and their match was $70,000. But hear me out. This year, they've upped it to $100,000. So our goal this year is $100,000 because if somebody's going to match that, then why not go after it?
So, Jada, how can people find you?
I encourage you to participate in Match Month. Give us a call at my office, 460-9152. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, or our new website at thomasccf.com.
Moving south to Dodge City, 2 juveniles were arrested following an investigation into an illegal marijuana and firearm operation. The Dodge City Police Department exercised a search warrant Tuesday and found over 400 THC vape cartridges with a street value of approximately $14,000, multiple ounces of THC concentrate, raw marijuana, over 4 pounds of marijuana edibles, a small amount of cocaine, over $1,000 in cash, and 10 firearms, including an AK-47 pistol and an SKS rifle. 2 adults were also arrested from the home on multiple charges of child endangerment. For more information on this and other stories, visit nwksradio.net.
Rocket 1025.
This morning, temperatures are starting out in the upper 40s to middle 50s with a south breeze at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Today, as high pressure will move east, a stationary front will set up along the Kansas-Nebraska border and a dry line south to Oakley. So we can see some evening storms that could pop up along that dry line around Red Willow County. But better chances for moisture will come Saturday with some wraparound rain showers. Today, southwest winds at 10 to 20 miles per hour and sunshine will start the day off and push afternoon highs to near record readings again in the middle to upper 80s. Clouds later this afternoon, evening, and overnight with winds shifting to the north and increasing 15 to 25 gusts and 35 miles per hour. We'll usher in some colder air tomorrow with highs topping around 55 and overnight lows dropping below freezing. We got chances for wraparound rain showers during the day, changing to some rain and snow mix overnight. This is meteorologist Chris Schromick in the NWKS Radio Weather Center.
Hey kids, from preschool to 8th grade, this one is just for you. It's the Kiss Dance, a chance for kids to invite someone special, an adult in their life. Kiss. Kids invite someone special. City Limits Convention Center will still have all the prom decorations. It's a kids prom. It's going to be so much fun with photos, DJ, dance, snacks, and more. Just $20 per couple. April 6th, 1:30 to 4, with proceeds going to the 2026 Colby High School prom. More info at nwksradio.net. It's the Kiss Dance, April 6th.
Earl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas is hiring now, looking for technicians of all levels and a service advisor to join their team. Enjoy competitive wages, consistent work, plus 401k and health benefits, all in a great work environment. If you're ready for a rewarding career with a trusted dealership, apply today. Visit them in person on South Commerce Road in Goodland or apply on Facebook. Join the Earl Chevrolet GMC family today.
Spring is here, and Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware has everything you need for the season. Get your lawn looking its best with Ultimate Fertilizer and power up with Ego blowers and mowers. Got a project? They got a surplus of lumber ready to go. Plus, fire up the fun with their selection of grills and griddles. Hoover's is also proud to sponsor the Pioneer 5K, 10K, half and full marathon supporting Colby Community College cross country on April 26th, and remind you to sign up and participate. It's Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware in Goodland and Colby, your one-stop shop for spring.
Your livelihood is important to you. You work hard to succeed in your farming operation, crop, livestock, home, vehicles, and special needs. We have you covered. Discounts are available for new business, remodeling, hail-resistive roofing, multi-policy, and many more. Optional coverage endorsements as well for machinery ingestion and equipment breakdown. Umbrella coverage for additional coverage on your home, farm, and auto. See the girls at the insurance agency at 1020 Main in Goodland or call 785-899-5011.
The Farmers State Bank of Oakley has been financing agriculture since the day we opened our doors. Hello, this is Corbin, and we are proud to be your locally owned partner in ag. We invite you to come and visit with us when you need to purchase new or used farm equipment, or need any type of agriculture or business loan. We have the knowledge, experience, and financial resources to keep you growing. The Farmers State Bank of Oakley, a tradition of community and agriculture for over 115 years. Member FDIC.
Goodland's Rocket 102.5 is your home for Goodland High School athletics. From touchdowns and three-pointers to home runs, Ross Volkmer has you covered with all the action. Join him for live broadcast on Goodland's Rocket 102.5, your front row seat to the Cowboys and Cowgirls. Select games video streamed on the Goodland Voice. GHS athletics this season are made possible in part by
Outdoor Bank, Moss Barger Family Farms, FNB Bank, Edward Jones Financial Advisor Chris Yost, and Ranchland.com and broker Craig Townsend.
Oh my, it's Christmas in July at Deckmark Furniture in Scott City, Kansas. All through the month of July, all in-stock furniture, and there's a lot of it. Everything in stock is buy one and get one item at equal or lesser value for 40% off. 40% off. Now is a great time to freshen up your furniture. They're there to help you, and they have a whole lot of furniture, including a lot of chairs on sale. Christmas in July at Deckmark Furniture on Main Street, Scott City, Kansas.
You ready? Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4! It's the Morning Blitz with Ross Volkmer.
Give me my cane. I'll show you how to play this game.
The region's only local sports talk.
Dynamite drop-in at broadcast school has really paid off.
Broadcasting on Goodland's Rocket 102.5, simulcasting on Goodland's 730 Gold KLOE.
Guy is everywhere.
Discussing it all from the preps.
Touchdown, the Cowboys!
To the pros.
And Temby back on the track. It's out of here. Bobby Witt Jr. delivers a go-ahead grand slam.
The Blitz is presented by Pearl Chevrolet GMC, Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware, and F&B Bank, as well as the Insurance Agency, Farmer State Bank in Oakley, the Cowboy Corner Express, and Equity Bank of Hoxie, Quinter, and Grinnell.
Let's go to work.
winds and delivers. That one's hit up the middle. Foss backtracking. He's not going to be able to make the play. Off of his mitt. Into scores glass. And Joseph Von Lintel with the first RBI of the 2025 season for the Goodland Cowboys. 1-1. That one's hit towards the gap between first and second. What a diving play over there at second and an out. Wow. Braxton Withington flashing the leather.
Sears nails a three. There's a new NCAA record for three-pointers made by a team in the tournament. 22 of them for Alabama. He has 9. They've made their last 6 in a row.
Dribbles over on the right side. Williams trying to back it against Knox. Into the paint. Turns baseline. Pump fake. Puts it up off the glass and in! 7.3 to go. Texas Tech up 2. Here comes Wagner up the right side. 3 seconds left. Wagner driving right. Behind his back. Launches the 20-footer for the tie. No! It's over! Texas Tech has won! Texas Tech is going to the Elite Eight. The Red Raiders back from the dead.
I admit, folks, I couldn't stay up late enough to watch the end of that overtime game. I was exhausted. I went to bed. I was watching it in bed for a little bit, and I fell asleep at the start of overtime. I did not see the end of Texas Tech, Arkansas. I did see the rally. Like they said, back from the dead, down by 16. But my goodness, that was a good game, and what was a very interesting night in the Sweet 16, which we'll talk more about that here in a little bit here on today's program. Thanks again for tuning in on Goodland's Rocket 1025, NWKSradio.net, the Hurl Chevrolet GMC video stream on YouTube, Face, and X. We'll take all of your thoughts and comments there, as well as the F&B Bank text line at 785-899-2222 if you'd like to chime in and get your thoughts throughout the show. We will... Jared already chiming in about certain things. Jared, we're going to get to some of that stuff. Maybe not the one you want to get the most. Real quickly, Jared on the Epi Bank text line wants to know about Stephen A. Smith and LeBron and my thoughts on it. I don't care. I don't care, Jared. It's dumb. It's dumb. Stephen A. Smith is a television personality. LeBron needs to probably get some thicker skin is probably what LeBron needs to do, probably. That's what I would say. LeBron needs to get thicker skin. And Stephen A. Smith, this is who he is. It's what he does. He's a TV personality that talks and makes debatable topics or thoughts and comments. So I'm going to say LeBron just needs to get thicker skin. That's my opinion on that. So anyway, we've got lots of things to get to here on a Friday show. It's a full show. We will talk a little bit about opening day, the Royals with a loss on opening day in extra innings, a tough one there. The Rockies begin their season today down in Tampa in an interesting situation. We'll talk about a couple of area athletes that made some high honors for the end of the basketball season. We'll get to that in the walk-off. We will talk about, Jared mentioned, the crazy end of the Bulls game, getting to the walk-off as well. Our guest today, I'm super stoked. A first-time guest. Always love first-time guests, as we'll be joined on the phone by Matt Walters. He is the voice of the K-State women's basketball team. He also does K-State baseball. Boy, not a better man to talk to about Saturday. When it comes to Kansas State women's basketball, they try to take down USC, the number 1 seed, at 7 o'clock Central, 6 Mountain Time on ESPN. You can watch that game. And, of course, he also covers baseball as well for the Wildcats, and they're off to a fantastic start this season. So we will visit with Matt Walters, radio voice of the K-State women and baseball team, joining us in segment 2 in about 15 to 20 minutes or so. We will get to some Sweet 16 thoughts there. But I want to start off, first and foremost, starting local with a little bit of baseball and softball yesterday. There was some local results from yesterday. Colby Community College baseball continued their great play. They swept Dodge City in Dodge, 14-10, 14-3, a couple of high-scoring affairs. But the Trojans have now won 10 straight. They're 20-10 overall, and they are 8-2 in the Jayhawk. They have had a really good bounce back after a really rocky start to the season. They have bounced back and played some great ball, and on top of that, they're having a great bounce-back season after a very tough one last year. I think they've already won. Actually, I feel confident. They've already won more games this year than they did all of last year. So they've had a really good bounce-back season here in 2025 after a rough 2024. And they'll have the chance to continue that with hopefully a sweep on Saturday of Dodge at home at Young Memorial Field. Speaking of Young Memorial Field, that is where the Colby Eagles and the Goodland Cowboys began their seasons yesterday, the season opener for both teams. And Colby getting a sweep of Goodland for the second consecutive year. They take down the Cowboys 11-1 in game 1. That game only going into 6 innings. And then game 2, a much better performance from the Cowboys, but the Eagles prevail late 4-1. The biggest thing that stood out about that series between Colby and Goodland, because we were there covering, of course, on Goodland's Rocket 1025, and golly, first and foremost, the comment by head coach of Colby, or sorry, assistant coach for the Colby baseball team, Brian Quigliano, when I got there, he goes, Ross, I don't think we can play today. I'm like, why? He goes, it's too nice. The weather's too nice for opening day. And it was right. I mean, usually we're sitting there in coats and blankets, watching the first game of the season, seeing the breath of some of the players as we get into the late in the second game. But no, it was absolutely beautiful. I was sweating in the first game, sitting there calling the game. And then, of course, as we pushed on, it was just a beautiful, beautiful day for baseball. And game one went the Eagles' way. They were able to take advantage of Goodland errors. And really, that was probably the biggest storyline of that game, of that series, was Cowboy self-inflicted wounds. When you have 10 combined errors over 2 games, 6 in the first game and 4 in the second, that is really going to hamper your chance to win games, unless you are just an offensive juggernaut, which Goodland is not an offensive juggernaut, and they really have never been one. They've really never, in my time of recalling Goodland baseball, which, is coming up here on almost 10 years, but this is year number 8 for me of calling Goodland baseball. They've never been an offensive juggernaut. They've never just been to the plate and just been absolutely mashing it all over the yard. That's not how they play. They are usually, if they're winning games by, manufacturing runs and, playing solid defense and pitching. That's how Goodland has won. It's how Goodland has made it to state. And that's probably the biggest reason, in my opinion, why the Cowboys haven't probably won at state, is they need to be better on offense. They need to be more explosive on the offense with the bats. So if you're not going to be that, then you certainly have to play really good defense and pitch very well. Cowboys did that in game 2. They did not in game 1. They pitched fine, but a lot of errors, whether it was trying to throw the ball around the diamond to get runners or to pick people off. And I'm not saying you shouldn't do that because it's part of the game, but if you got to know the situation and when to do it. And there was, I would bet half of the 15 runs that Colby scored yesterday in that series, I bet you half of them Goodland gave to Colby. And I bet many people in Colby would agree to that. So Goodland's got to get better on the defensive side about being crisper or just being smarter with the baseball and making teams earn. I mean, that's the thing. You got to make teams earn it. Make them drive in the ball. And that's what Colby did yesterday. They pitched to contact. They made Goodland drive, and they played really good defense behind that contact pitching from Kellen Burvey and Braxton Withington, who were both really good yesterday on the bump. So I think the Cowboys got to get better in the areas of, once again, not shooting themselves in the foot defensively, and offensively need to be a little bit better, more aggressive, a little bit more successful when there's guys on base. Cowboys left the bases loaded in game 2 in game 2 in the first inning. That probably could have helped them out a lot. But they didn't get it. They got to be able to get more timely hitting if they're going to get some wins and improve upon last year's just 3-win season. So Caleb Williams was fantastic on the bump. Cason Cedarstrom was solid all the way around. Those two guys really played well, I thought, for Goodland. Colby's got a bunch of good players. Max Kirstenbrock out in center field. He's got my vote for GWAC Center Field of the Year already. He did barely let anything hit the ground. If it was anywhere in his vicinity, he tracked it down and made a great play. And he also swung the bat pretty well. So Max Kirstenbrock was great yesterday. Braden Foss was solid. They got production up and down the lineup. Cason Strammel, the catcher, was good in game 1. And, of course, they're pitching with Braxton Withington in game 1. He was really good. So was Kellen Burvey. Talk about two opposite guy. Withington throws really hard. He's got some great nasty stuff. And Burvey's this soft-tossing lefty that just kind of floats the ball in there at times. It's an interesting 1-2 punch for the Eagles, but it's effective. But Colby gets the series opening sweep and victories 11-1 in 6 innings and 4-1. And they're in game 2. They're 2-0. They got Russell Victoria coming up here on April 4th. And the Cowboys will try to bounce back at Burlington coming up here on Tuesday, April the 1st. So, but once again, Colby looked really solid in game number 1 and in series number 1. Goodland, rough in game 1, looked much better in game 2. If they can play more like they did in game 2, they'll have a chance to win a lot more baseball games. I apologize to the Colby Lady Eagles softball. I did not know they had a game played yesterday, but they did because they were playing right adjacent to us at Young Memorial Field, as Colby softball was swept by Liberal 17-2 and 14-2. Lady Eagles get their season off to an 0-2 start. Speaking of softball, a little bit of JUCO softball this Saturday. You got Colby hosting Dodge and Fort Hays Tech Northwest going down to Butler. So there you go. And a little bit of a local sports update from the Diamond yesterday. Once again, just a beautiful day for baseball, that is for sure. Transitioning into the Sweet 16 last night. My goodness, what a night of basketball there. It started out with just an unbelievable performance in game number 1 between Alabama and Duke. If you didn't have a chance to watch, which I did not, I followed up on the stats, but Alabama made an unprecedented NCAA tournament record, 25 3-pointers on 51 attempts. I cannot believe it. I mean, what are they, the Boston Celtics? 25 of 51. They shot 53% from the field, 50% from 3, and 86% from the foul line. They beat BYU 113-88. BYU had the plan that we're not going to let Alabama drive and get to the paint. And Bama said, that's fine. We're going to light you up from deep. And boy, did they. Mark Sears hit 10 of 16 3-pointers, did the point guard for Alabama. Wow. That is a really, really dominant performance offensively. They're going to face the Duke Blue Devils, who I don't know about anybody watching that game thought that Duke ran away with that thing. I mean, Duke was up. What were they up? I mean, had to be close to 20 points. It was in the second half, they were up by, it looks like 70 to 53 or 70 to, they were up by 19, 70 to 51 with 13 minutes and 12 seconds left to go. Arizona got it all the way back down to like a 4.6 point game before Duke prevailed. Duke made their free throws. Cooper Flagg was fantastic again for Duke as he goes out there and gets a 30-pointer on 9 of 19 shooting. Con Knipple was good as well, had 20 points, made 8 of 9 free throws, 16 points from Sion James for Duke. Caleb Love was fantastic for Arizona. He had 35 points in that loss for Arizona. But those were some very interesting games. And boy, what an exciting game that's going to be played between Duke and Alabama. I mean, that game should be unbelievable. I think that could be the best game of the Elite Eight. We'll see. But yeah, those were some interesting games. And then you got to the later games, or I should say not the later game, but in the other region, which would have been the West region, you had Florida pulling away from Maryland late. It was close kind of throughout, but Florida pulled away late like I thought they would. Their depth and stuff would wear on Maryland's lack of depth. Derek Queen, though, who, by the way, congratulations, recently signed an NIL deal with Dairy Queen. Great signing there by Derek Queen and Dairy Queen alike. I'm a big fan. But he had 27 points to lead the game in scoring, and what's more, a more balanced attack for Florida as they had, when you look up and down their lineup, they had multiple guys in double figures. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different guys in double figures, led by 15 from Will Richard to get Florida into the Elite Eight, where they will face what was the winner of the game of the night. That was Texas Tech, coming back from the dead, as they described it on Westwood One's radio coverage. They were down 16. They got off to a horrible start, and they were able to charge back. Were the Red Raiders, and find a way to get an 85-83 win in overtime. The performance from Texas Tech, who doesn't have a lot of depth, they had 3 guys in over 20 points. JT Toppin, Darion Williams, and Christian Anderson all had over 20 points to help get the comeback, which Texas Tech battled all game and was able to come back and get that win. And audio last night from after the game, Texas Tech coach Grant McCashlin talks about his team and how they were able to come back because they believe in each other.
Man, what a tremendous atmosphere, and it's an awesome opportunity to be on this team with these guys, because nobody believes more in each other than this group, and it's really a blessing to be a part of.
I can tell you one thing. When they play Florida, though, they're going to have to get off to a better start. I don't think they can dig themselves a 16-point hole and dig out against Florida. And Texas Tech forward Darion Williams that says they're going to have to be the aggressor when they play Florida on Saturday.
Obviously, it's a really good team, and they're 1 seed for a reason. And you never know how the game's going to go, so can't really compare games. Just got to see how it goes. But we got to come out and be the more aggressive team, be the toughest team.
I was saying, before we got going, it was kind of an interesting night because you saw in those games, 4 games last night, you saw some games being just, kind of blowouts like the Bama game, just shooting. But, it was entertaining because they were shooting lights out. But then after that, you look at it, and then the Duke Arizona game looked like it was going to be a blowout, but Arizona charges back to make that game interesting. The Florida Maryland game was close throughout, but then pulled away late, did Florida. And then, of course, Texas Tech was a very entertaining game. That is for sure. Going back to the Duke win over Arizona, talking about Cooper Flagg had an unbelievable performance, and he talked about his great performance in that 30 points in that win over Arizona.
Just playing with really good energy, trusting our game plan, trusting my teammates. I mean, they put me in some really good spots tonight. Coach as well just put me in some really good spots. I think just, making the right play and just letting the game happen.
Talking about Alabama in their 113-88 win and talking about those 25 made three-pointers, which was an NCAA tournament record. Head coach for the Crimson Tide, Nate Oates, talked about how cool it was to make some history.
Part of the reason we coach the way we coach, it's a little more fun that way. So I didn't know that they had the record in the tournament. So, I guess it's nice to beat that record.
Mark Sears, of course, who had the unbelievable performance. Sears going off once again for 34 points on 11 of 18 shooting and made 10 of 16 three-pointers, talking post-game with the media about how he knew he was going to have a great night.
Once I seen the first three fall in, I felt like the basket was like big as an ocean. Every time I shot, I felt like it was going in. So, I just lost myself in the game and, just let everything else happen.
Isn't that a fact? I mean, it had to look like an ocean. I mean, when you're hitting that many threes, it had to look like you can just chuck it up from anywhere and it was going to go in. That's a great quote from Mark Sears talking about the ocean there. We got a full slate of games coming up tonight with the final 4 games of the Sweet 16. You'll have things getting going at just after 6 Central, 5 Mountain Time with Ole Miss and Michigan State. And then that just 30 minutes after that, you'll have Kentucky, Tennessee, which I think once again is going to be one of the best games of the Sweet 16 round. And then the late 2 games at just after 8:30 Central Time, 7:30 Mountain Time. You've got Michigan, Auburn. I think that'll be a good game. And then the capper, I don't know. I think it could be a snoozer. That's just me. Maybe I'm wrong. Definitely could be wrong. Been wrong before many times. But Houston, Purdue, I feel like Houston could really take it to the Boilermakers for some reason. I feel like that could be your Alabama BYU game, kind of. So it could really take it. I'm not saying Houston's going to knock in 25 threes. I don't know if any team's going to do that. I don't think that's going to happen at all. But, man, you think about Saturday and that Alabama-Duke game. My goodness, that is going to be appointment television, isn't it? You're going to want to tune in and watch that. That's going to be at 7:49 Central, 6:49 Mountain. Weird times, but that's just the way it is. But you're going to want to tune in and watch that. That is going to be appointment television. Duke, Bama. I thought it would be an Elite 8 matchup in my bracket. I was right, but my goodness, that game is going to be nuts. I mean, Duke is a great offensive and defensive team. They're a top 5 team in KenPom in both those statistics. Alabama is one of the best offensive teams in the country, as we just saw here this last game. So look out. That game to me is going to be really, really good, which will make up for the fact I think Florida's going to take care of Texas Tech, I think, somewhat easily, kind of like they did against Maryland. Maryland doesn't have a lot of depth. Texas Tech doesn't have a lot of depth. Florida will pull away late to get the win there, I believe, and make it to the Final Four. But, man, that Duke-Bama game, flip a coin. That's going to be a doozy of a contest. Really, really good games on tap for Saturday, and, of course, 4 more games tonight. Of course, we cannot forget on Saturday, the women's Sweet 16 gets going, and that's when the Kansas State women will play. They get to take on the top seed in their region, the USC Lady Trojans, but without their top player, Juju Watkins, who blew her knee out in the last game against Mississippi State. Does that open the door for Kansas State to pull off an upset as a 5-1? I think so. But does the voice who covers the Wildcats all season long, Matt Walters, agree? He will join us next here on the Morning Blitz to talk about the K-State women's basketball team and what lies ahead of them on Saturday night against the USC Trojans. So stick around. Plenty more to get to here on a Friday edition of the Morning Blitz.
Earl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas is hiring now, looking for technicians of all levels and a service advisor to join their team. Enjoy competitive wages, consistent work, plus 401k and health benefits, all in a great work environment. If you're ready for a rewarding career with a trusted dealership, apply today. Visit them in person on South Commerce Road in Goodland or apply on Facebook. Join the Earl Chevrolet GMC family today.
It's time for a check of the markets with the Anderson Trade Group on the Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio Network.
Good morning. This is Kate Thompson with the Anderson Trade Group. Today is Friday, March 28th. On the overnights last night, May corn lower 4 3/4 at 4.45 1/4. July down 4 3/4 at 4.53 1/4. September down 3 1/2, 4.32 3/4. December down 3 1/4 at 4.40 1/2. May soybeans down 3 1/2 on the overnight at 10.13 1/4. July down 2 3/4 at 10.27 3/4. August down 3 1/4 at 10.23 3/4. September beans down 2 1/4 at 10.13 1/2. Chicago wheat, the May contract lower 9 cents on the overnight at 5.23. July down 9 at 5.38 1/4. September down 9 1/4 at 5.55. December soft wheat down 8 1/4 at 5.80 1/2. Kansas City wheat, the May contract lower 13 1/2 at 5.52 3/4. July down 13 3/4 at 5.66. September down 13 1/4 at 5.81 3/4. December hard wheat down 12 1/4 at 6.06 1/4. On the stock market this morning, the Dow down $123 at 42,479. The S&P down 23 at 5,716. The Nasdaq down 113 at 19,880. Gold higher $23 an ounce at 3,114. Crude oil up 12 cents a barrel at 70.04. If you have any questions about marketing grain or would like to talk about risk management options, give our Colorado office a call, John Hanke or John Stiles at 970-744-4484, or in our Kansas City office, myself, Tom Saluto, Jared Law, or Heather Josh at 913-748-3000.
The Anderson Trade Group, proud market partners with Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio. Find out more at andersongrain.com. The risk of loss through trading futures and or options is substantial, and each investor and or trader must consider whether this is a suitable investment.
and fallow management systems. That's why Scorch EXT herbicide has received 24C registration for use in Kansas and Montana fallow. Scorch EXT controls kochia plus other threatening broadleaf weeds like Canada and Russian thistle. Powered by Duplicent technology, this innovative three-way premix is developed in response to the rising storm of resistant kochia, including types resistant to glyphosate, 2,4-D, or fluroxapyr. Take back control with Scorch EXT from New Farm.
Looking to bring balance and relaxation into your life? Essential Balance in Colby, Kansas is your go-to for all things aromatherapy. We offer a wide selection of pure essential oil singles and expertly crafted blends, along with luxurious lotions and soothing bath salts, all designed to help you relax, refresh, and restore. Whether you're easing stress, boosting your mood, or simply indulging in self-care, we have the perfect natural solutions for you. Stop by Essential Balance in Colby today and experience the power of natural wellness. Essential Balance, helping you find harmony one drop at a time.
Want to be part of the Morning Blitz?
Sometime I'll give you a piece of my mind, like right now.
Send your thoughts to the F&B Bank text line at 785-899-2222.
Okay, continue to roll along here on a Friday morning, March the 28th. Once again, going to be another warm one here on the high plains. 85. I saw yesterday was a record 85 in McCook, Nebraska. Also in Hill City, I saw was a record is there. But 52 currently, mostly sunny. On our way to a high of 85 today. Going to be a much cooler weekend, including some precipitation, possibly Saturday night and into Sunday. That could be white stuff. That could be rain. We'll see. We'll have to just deal with that when that comes around. All right, I'm excited for our next guest. I always love first-time guests here on the program. Always excited to get new blood onto the show, and we're pleased to welcome into the program. He covers the K-State women, also does K-State baseball. That would be, and of course, he's on the sideline for Kansas State football. He does it all. Matt Walters joins us now on the Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware Hotline. Matt, thank you so much for joining us this morning. How we doing?
You bet, Ross. Good morning, and appreciate the invitation.
I got to say, Matt, are you doing this game this Saturday or not for the K-State women?
No, Brian Smoller will be with the women out in Spokane. I've got baseball with Texas Tech, who's in for 3 this weekend. Wyatt's going to handle the radio side of it, and I've got the coverage on ESPN Plus this weekend.
Is that disappointing you're not in Spokane, or you're okay with it?
Oh, it's always fun covering the K-State women. I get to do most of the home games, and what a treat that basketball team was and has been, and they've got a tall task in front of them with USC. But if they play well, they've got a shot in having Aoka Lee back. Definitely helps this team, but they have arguably been one of the best teams in K-State history.
Oh, no doubt about it. 28-7. Has this season gone about how you thought it might when it began for K-State women?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. I expected K-State to have a lot of success. I thought that, if Aoka Lee could stay healthy, then, the places this team could go would be, limitless. I think the real goal for this team was just to get to the Sweet 16. And I'm not just saying they're happy to be there and that's it. But after what happened last year at home when Colorado knocked out K-State and kept them from getting to the Sweet 16, I think this team really focused in its sights on getting to the Sweet 16. And then as, the season got started, K-State was dominant. They were scoring a ton of points. And then Aoka Lee goes out, and this team had to, create a new identity of sorts, and it did. Did it have the greatest record when Lee was out? No. I mean, K-State ran into some awfully tough teams. West Virginia gave them fits. Baylor did in Manhattan, breaking up their perfect home record this year. But K-State beat TCU, who's also in the Sweet 16 and was atop the Big 12 conference. So, again, with what the Big 12 is and what K-State had to endure, not having Aoka Lee for, really the better part of the half of the season, I think this team did exactly what it had to do.
We're visiting with the voice of the Kansas State women's basketball team, also does K-State baseball. That's Matt Walters joining us on the Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware hotline. When Jeff Mittie got this team together, I don't know if he could have planned. I think most impressive statistic for this Kansas State team is that they have 7 different girls that average over 7 more points. I mean, so many different girls can beat you any given night. Is that what makes them really dangerous in your opinion?
Well, I think with what you said, Ross, it's a case of so many can contribute on a nightly basis. I think this year what really helped was the fact that the threes were falling more than they did in previous years. K-State had been a team that was shooting around 30, 31, 32% maybe from the three-point line. Well, this year that number ramped up. So what does that mean? That means more points are on the board. I think the addition of Tamira Poindexter was as big a get as K-State could have hoped for because of what she has meant athletically and what she's brought to the team. And for that matter, Kennedy Taylor, who came from Missouri State, because K-State has lacked some depth behind Aoka Lee, and Kennedy Taylor has bridged that gap. Imani Lester's made improvement. Eliza Maupin's shown improvement. And even though she's not a true 5, Giselle Sanchez has made tremendous improvement for this team. Again, what Taryn Sides, the Phillipsburg product, has done, I think, screams as well. I mean, her growth in terms of knocking down shots, being a little more settled. I still think Taryn has some issues when she's playing very athletic guards. I think her height causes her some troubles, but again, her growth from freshman year to sophomore year has just been very, very impressive. And again, this is just a complete team. And you said something a second ago, Ross, about getting this team together. And sitting back and watching this bunch, the one thing I would throw out is Aoka Lee is Aoka Lee, and she's going to be in the rafters. She already is with that 61-point performance against Oklahoma, a couple years ago. But I think if you look at what this team is, I think the fact that Jeff Mittie was able to find a point guard like Serena Sundell, and what she has done from start to finish is, I think she deserves to be up there as well, because she is as complete a player as Jeff Mittie has had. She can post up. She's obviously the all-time assist leader, breaking Shaylee Lenning's mark. She can board it. She has a very good shot. She gets to the rim. I mean, she's just been asked to do so much That is a young lady that I think that is one of, if not the best recruits that Jeff Mittie will ever get.
You stole my thunder there. I was going to talk about Serena and how good she's been. I mean,
sorry about that.
No, you're no worries. But I was going to say, I mean, scoring the ball, but over a 7 assists per game, and she's got those 1,500, rebounds, assists. She's done all these different great statistical things over the course of her career. And she just, I mean, where in your opinion does she rank maybe in this tournament? I mean, she's got to be one of the top players when you talk about just in complete player realm in this NCAA women's tournament.
Yeah, she's one of the best guards, without a doubt. And I think by the fact that you're hearing the TV talking heads reference her stock in the WNBA draft, right now there are some that think she's going to be a top 10, if not a top 15, if not a top 10 type pick. And it's because of her length. Now, she makes up for it, and she has to make up for it with her brains in some respects and her gifts, because she's not as athletic as some of the other guards that remain. She's not as athletic as a Haley Van Lith from TCU, for example, but she does a number of things as well, if not better. So she's going to be able to help somebody, and she's going to make some money in the WNBA. And again, it goes back to her work ethic. She's increased her speed at K-State. She's added on muscle, and she is just, again, taken quantum leaps as a player from the day she stepped foot on campus.
Once again, Matt Walters is our guest here on the Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware Hotline, covers the Kansas State women's basketball team, also does K-State baseball, and does sideline for Kansas State here on the K-State Sports Network. I'd say this game against USC, it probably looked like a very daunting one until a few days ago when Juju Watkins had an unfortunate knee injury, and boy, the spread now, they're pretty much what is a 1.5 going in this game. And there's a real possibility that Kansas State could pull this upset. I really feel like there is a chance. Do you agree?
If they're on their A game, without a doubt, they're going to have to play well. I mean, if anybody watched what USC did to Mississippi State without Juju, there's something else. There's a reason USC is a 1 seed. I think their athleticism, their speed could cause K-State some problems, but K-State does have Aokali inside. You've got to get her established. K-State's going to have to knock down some shots, but there's no doubt in my mind that K-State can win this ball game. But again, I think that spread is a little short-sighted just because of what USC is. That team is not just Juju Watkins. And I think folks will see what USC is tomorrow night. Again, with their length, their athleticism, they've got a great freshman crew on that team, and again, they've wowed a lot of people this year. I was watching when Juju suffered that knee injury, and it just makes you sick to your stomach. You don't want to see that. You wouldn't wish that on anybody. But it's sports. That happens, and we'll see what K-State can get done tomorrow night.
What do you think K-State has to do in order to get that upset? What do you think they got to do defensively or offensively? Where can they gain an advantage?
Well, again, I'll say I think K-State's got to be on its A game. I don't think they're going to be able to have short stints of or long stints, that is, of not playing well. They're going to give up some points, but you can't give up that 14-2 run. I think a good start will help K-State. I think defensively, giving USC a couple of different looks will help. I won't be surprised to see K-State zone up USC tomorrow night. I think K-State needs to push tempo like they have so much. The easier buckets you can get will help. And again, if the threes are dropping, I think for K-State to win tomorrow night, I think they've got to get to double-digit threes. I think they've got to hit at least 10 in that ball game.
Once again, Matt Walters, our guest. One more on the Kansas State women, just about Coach Mittie. I mean, how good has he been for this program and how he has built this program up over the course of his tenure?
Well, I think the better the recruits you get, the better you look as a coach. And I think that in the last few years, the recruiting classes have gotten better and better. And I think it's, with what's taking place in this day and age in college athletics, it's really, that much more difficult as a coach, because if you're not playing and you're not getting your way, then I'm out. I'm going someplace else. And, that's not really conducive to building programs. it's a little different in the women's game, I think, than the men's game, Ross. But K-State's got a very, very nice recruiting class coming in next year, and I think that's how you build it. You have to keep bringing in very good freshmen, and then bring in the spotty portal transfer to put that cherry on top, so to speak. And I think Jeff Mitty's last job is going to be this job. I don't see him going anyplace else.
Matt, before we let you go, I love talking college baseball, and since you cover the Wildcats, we need to talk about it. 16-8 to this point in time in the season, got off to a rocky start, went just 1-3 in their first 4 games, but turned it around against Arkansas and Michigan and TCU, and have really never looked back. What about this team for Kansas State this year that has them really rolling for Coach Hughes?
The offense has been clicking for the most part. They've gotten good pitching. On the weekends, K-State's starting 3 left-handers, which I don't remember that ever happening. They're not dominant guys, but they're guys that can get you, through 5, through 6, and then turn it over to the bullpen. But this team's hit 40-plus home runs. This is a team that really likes one another. And, for whatever reason, the light flipped on when they were in Arlington. They swept those 3 games, and then they won 2 out of 3, almost beat LSU, who was ranked 2nd at the time, in Frisco. And, K-State swept Utah to start Big 12 play, won 2 out of 3 at Baylor last weekend, which that place has been very troublesome for the Cats. So, they've got to continue that. They've got to take 2 out of 3 from a Texas Tech team that, oddly enough, has the fewest wins of anybody in the Big 12 Conference. A team that's not playing all that well. We're going to have crazy weather conditions throughout the weekend here in Northeast Kansas. But, the way I look at it is, if you win 2 out of 3 and you do that all year long, you're easily going to be in the NCAA tournament. So this team just needs to keep sawing logs and keep doing what they're doing.
Who will be a couple, in your opinion, of the bigger opponents for them to try and tackle in the Big 12 slate? Right now, 5-1 after their first 2 series.
It'll be interesting when K-State goes to KU in a couple of weeks, just because KU's got a lot of offense this year. They've taken a step forward. It's easy to say every week is difficult. Going to Oklahoma State next week will be hard because of what that ballpark is. Oklahoma State's not playing great baseball right now, but they're still a load. It'll be interesting later on in April when K-State's got to go out to BYU and you play, you play in the mountains, so to speak. It's a long conference season. K-State does not have Arizona and Arizona State, a couple of the, I'd say the heavyweights in the Big 12, but that's the way it is in this year's schedule, just because it's unbalanced. But again, if K-State's offense keeps doing what it's been doing, they're going to be in a really good spot looking at the postseason.
How much can you credit the success of the last season or 2 for Coach Hughes, and in the postseason particularly, making it to a super? How much can you credit that to the success leading into this year?
Well, Coach Hughes has been able to keep his staff together. He added Rudy Darrow as pitching coach a couple years ago. He's been tremendous. Austin Waits has been approached by the pros, and he has stayed put here in Manhattan. I think consistency on that front is extremely important. And again, on the recruiting trail, they have found some pieces that really fit. This is a team that's brand spanking new up the middle, and that's hard to continue success when you're starting a new catcher, new shortstop, new second baseman, new center field. I think K-State's done that flawlessly, and if they continue to keep playing better defense, then that's going to help. Their fielding percentage is under 970 at the moment, which that's not where you want it. When you're on turf, you should be fielding in that 980 realm. So that's one area K-State can get better at. But again, this is a team that has a chance to have a lot of success. And I'll tell you, teams don't like coming to Manhattan because it's a very hard environment. The fans are right on top of you. And when K-State's playing well, they cause teams a lot of problems.
How's your bracket looking, Matt? Is it still looking pretty good intact after that first round?
I hate to tell you this, but I didn't fill one out this year.
Oh, no.
There are a couple of teams that I thought might make it a little further, some darlings that didn't. But the way Duke's playing right now and the way Florida's playing, it's hard to see anybody knocking them out. But kudos to Texas Tech last night for that comeback win against Arkansas. That was very impressive.
That was highly impressive for sure. He is the radio voice of the Kansas State women's basketball team, also does baseball for K-State as well. You can hear him on the call tonight. He'll be doing K-State and Texas Tech there from Toynton. Matt, thank you so much for the time. Appreciate it, and we'll catch up down the road. Thanks again.
You bet, Ross. Take care. Have a great weekend.
You as well. Once again, great stuff there from Matt Walters. He is the radio voice of the Kansas State women and, of course, the baseball team as well. So there you go. Some interesting information about Kansas State secondary sports to an extent. The K-State women try to pull off a massive upset tonight. We'll see if they do. I'm with Matt. That 1.5 point spread, boy, that seems tight. I would probably push that to more 5.5, somewhere in that. Seems I know Juju is really important, but boy, like we said, they still ran away from Mississippi State even without her because she got hurt in the first quarter. So we'll see. But that'd be an interesting game. That's Saturday night, 7 Central, 6 Mountain Time on ESPN when you can watch that. And, of course, if you want to hear Matt's deep-toned voice there, you can hear that tonight as he'll be doing Kansas State and Texas Tech on ESPN+. Okay, that'll do it for that segment. Let's take a break. It's 7:51 Mountain, 8:51 Central Time, and we get back. We'll wrap up the show with some thoughts on Major League Baseball's opening day. That's next here on the Morning Blitz.
Spring is here, and Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware has everything you need for the season. Get your lawn looking its best with Ultimate Fertilizer and power up with Ego blowers and mowers. Got a project? They got a surplus of lumber ready to go. Plus, fire up the fun with their selection of grills and griddles. Hoover's is also proud to sponsor the Pioneer 5K, 10K, half and full marathon supporting Colby Community College cross country on April 26th and remind you to sign up and participate. It's Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware in Goodland and Colby, your one-stop shop for spring.
At FNB Bank, we understand the backbone of our community is our local farmers and ranchers. Whether you're growing crops, raising livestock, or investing in new equipment, we're here to help you succeed. Our agricultural loans are tailored to meet the unique needs of your farm with flexible terms from people who understand what it takes to make it in agriculture. When you partner with FNB Bank, you're working with neighbors who know the land and are invested in your success. FNB Bank, rooted in our community, growing with you. Member FDIC.
If you're shopping for a banking institution, visit with Equity Bank of Hoxie, Grinnell, and Quinter, Kansas. The Equity Bank is heavily invested in local business and activities contributing in many ways back to their community. Their employees are involved with many organizations and area events. Plus, a lot of experience comes with that staff. You'll find valuable local assistance when you bank at the Equity Bank of Hoxie, Grinnell, Quinter, and other locations in Western Kansas. The Equity Bank, member FDIC.
Your livelihood is important to you. You work hard to succeed in your farming operation, crop, livestock, home, vehicles, and special needs. We have you covered. Discounts are available for new business, remodeling, hail-resistive roofing, multi-policy, and many more. Optional coverage endorsements as well for machinery ingestion and equipment breakdown. Umbrella coverage for additional coverage on your home, farm, and auto. See the girls at the insurance agency at 1020 Main in Goodland or call 785-899-5011.
The only way to start your day.
I don't know how to put this, but I'm kind of a big deal.
With Ross Volkmer in the Morning Blitz.
I'm a man on a mission. I'm a man on a mission.
Thanks again to Matt Walters for joining the program. Miss any of the conversation about K-State women and their big game against USC on Saturday, you can catch up on the podcast or on YouTube after the program. All right, baseball yesterday, opening day, and the Royals were in action taking on the Cleveland Guardians. It did not go the way that the Royals were hoping for. They lose 7-4 to Cleveland there in game number 1. Royals got off to a great start, bottom of the third. Vinny Pasquantino, the Pasquatch, with a 3-run bomb to right field. But slowly but surely, Cleveland chipped away. They took the lead back on a Manzardo homer in the center in the top of the 6th. Michael Massey had a sac fly in the bottom 9 to extend the game. Otherwise, it looked like as if that to do that against Emmanuel Clase is certainly hard to do. But he was able to get the sacrifice fly in the bottom of the 9th, tie the game up. They go into extras, though, and Manzardo again with a big double to right, driving in a couple of runs. Pretty much puts the game out of reach. 7-4, the final score as the Royals drop to 0-1 to begin their season. Some audio after the game. Manager Matt Quatrero talking about how it was tough to score runs on the Cleveland bullpen yesterday.
Those guys we know have a really good bullpen. And even Lively, after we got the 3-run homer, the
the next 2 innings were, I think, 6 up, 6 down. We didn't do much in the middle innings, and we need to keep pressing there to try to get back in the game.
Even though it was a loss, boy, it was a great atmosphere, great crowd, high energy. Cole Reagan certainly took notice of that for sure.
I mean, even from the intros, you know, it's fun to be a part of. You know, that's things that you don't forget. You love to see, and you know, it's always fun seeing that many fans and hearing that many fans.
Cole Reagan's 5 innings, 5 hits, 3 runs, all earned, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts for Cole Reagan's in his opening game. Bobby Witt Jr. 1 for 5 with the run scored. He struck out 3 times. Tough start for him. Pasquantino was great. 2 for 4, 3 RBIs with that homer and a run scored as well. Not much coming from the bottom of the order. That's a big thing. Michael Massey with the sacrifice fly, about the really only thing cooking for the bottom of the order for the Royals, and that's something to watch. Speaking of Pasquantino, he talked about how he was proud of the team, how hard they worked to force extra innings.
We were able to put one on them and extend the game to extras, and then they did a really nice job there in the 10th to put up 3. You kind of go into those and expect them to score 1, us to score 1, and then it's like, all right, who can take over? And they were able to do that today.
So there you go. Royals will have a day off today. They will play again on Saturday, resume that series with the Cleveland Guardians. Of course, you can hear Royals baseball all season long on AM 790 KXXX. Today, the season begins for the Colorado Rockies. They are at the Tampa Bay Rays, which the game we played at George M. Steinbrenner Field, which is the minor league home of the Yankees. That's where the Rays are going to play home games this year because their stadium once again was torn apart by the hurricane, which is a sad deal. But the Rays are going to be playing at a minor league park the whole season, I believe. And so the Rockies will open the season there at George M. Steinbrenner Field. And we will see how this game comes out. Kyle Freeland scheduled to get the start against Ryan Pepita. I forget how you say his last name for the Rays. But Kyle Freeland gets the start on the bump for the Rockies, who once again are predicted to lose over 100 games this season. We'll see if they get off to the right start here in 2023 or 2025. I don't know why I said 2023. Before we get to the walk-off, I did want to quickly bring up something about a couple of area hoopers. Congratulations to Goodland's Brady Brumbaugh, as well as Shy Lynn's Taylor McCarty, as they were named to Keisha's top 15 basketball players in the state. They both made the third team. Brumbaugh, third team selection on the boys' side. McCarty, a third team selection on the girls' side. But cool to see those Western Kansas and extreme Northwest Kansas athletes getting the love that they deserve for the hard work they put in. But McCarty and Brumbaugh making Keisha's top 15 basketball players here in the 24-25 season. I honestly think I don't know much about McCarty. I'm fine with that. She's only a sophomore. I think Brumbaugh probably could have been a second teamer, in my opinion. Probably playing out here in Western Kansas probably didn't help that. I think he probably could have been a second team selection. Not about a first teamer, but a second team of the top 15, the second 5. I think he could have been a part of that. And I think he was probably real close to that as well. But congratulations, Brady Brumbaugh, Taylor McCarty, making Keisha's top 15 basketball players from this previous season.
And back lifts his ball high and deep to right. How about a walk-off Brady? Thomas to the 10. Difference going on in New England. They win it on the first play of overtime. Mahomes swings it. It's there. Hardman. Jackpot. Kansas City.
It was a crazy end of the Bulls-Laker game last night. The Lakers were up 115-113. A 3-ball for the Bulls to give themselves a 1-point lead. Lakers go down the floor, get a layup, and then a heave from Josh Giddey at the half court wins it for the Bulls. Here is how it sounded on Bulls television last night.
2-point game, 9.8 left. Oh, who's for Giddey? The steal, right for the lead. Yeah! Big-time plays, make big-time plays. Kobe, White, Sub-Zero. Bang, bang, bang. Doncic took the final shot before that. Here's Reeves. Reeves straight to the cup. Plays it in to take the lead. Bulls are out of timeouts. 2 seconds left. Giddey for the win. Oh my God! I cannot believe this. Elizabeth I'm coming, baby. Oh, no. Improbable. Unbelievable. Impossible. Magic Giddy. Good day, mate.
Oh, that is fantastic. It's some of the images in the telecast of that one Lakers fan standing in a crowd of Bulls fans just in shock and disbelief. Oh, that's great television. That's great stuff right there. That was a crazy finish to that sequence, that's for sure. Once again, in local sports coming up here this weekend, don't forget you've got Colby Community College softball hosting Dodge, Forties Tech Northwest going to Butler for softball, and, of course, Colby Community College baseball looking to push it to over 10-plus wins in a row. They're sitting at 10 in a row right now. Can they get to 11 and 12 in a row? They'll take on Dodge City at Young Memorial Field on Saturday afternoon, which, by the way, Coach Carter and the baseball boys from both Colby High and Colby College have put that field in fantastic shape. It is a really, really nice-looking ballpark. All right, that'll do it for our program today. Thanks again for listening. We're back again on Monday to recap the weekend. Hope you'll join us then. Have a great one. It's been the Blitz.
Rocket 102.5 is KKCI Goodland.